The Bible reading for today comes from Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 to 36. Let us hear the word of the Lord. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. This is the word of the Lord.
As a request, we're going to stand and sing Amazing Grace just before Moose comes and shares with us. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be as long as life endures. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. My chains are gone, my chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine. Will be forever mine. You are forever mine. You may be seated. Please come forth, Moose.
Good morning, church. It's good to be in Narracourt, home of the Wool Museum. Must be exciting to have a museum of wool in your town. I'm personally excited for it, and it was the talk of the town last night. And they've been kind enough to give me their year's takings as towards my ministry. And personally, I don't know what I'm going to do with the $3.10. But I better get the elephant out the room. I'm not like your normal Christian, obviously, to look at. I do have a terrible sense of humour, so I'm sure I'll offend someone out there. I'll tell you how bad my humour is. I drive a hearse as my daily vehicle with a coffin in the back, and I have the number plate stiff one. So that's what you're up against today, people. So if you want to boo me, that's cool. I've been booed before. I'm a Collingwood supporter. I boo my own mum. And before I begin, is there any Crows supporters here today? Good, I'll talk nice and slow for you. All right, what a great franchise club that is. I was born a normal child like anyone else, and child life was good. I had great parents, a Vietnam veteran of a dad, fifth generation of mental health I am, and fourth generation of going to prison. My grandfather died in Adelaide jail. My kids haven't gone to prison, so I've broken the cycle. But I started taking drugs at 10 years old, hard drugs at 13. I smoked my first marijuana at 5 years old. I stole my uncle's weed out of the back of his FC Holden out in the shed and thought it'd be a great thing to smoke it. That led on to addiction during my early teens, and it led me to go to a child prison facility. I wasn't there for long, 2 days maximum, and when I got out, my dad said, "Did you learn anything?" I said, "Yes, I learned how to steal the new Commodore." So naturally, my next charge was theft of an automobile, failing to pull over when required, driving in a manner dangerous, undue care, disorderly behaviour, resist arrest, assault police, failing to keep within the white lines and failing to indicate. I don't know why they just didn't throw chewing gum in class as well, you know. So my dad was livid, and he came down to the police station and he decided to attack the sergeant, being a crazy Vietnam veteran. So the sergeant locked us in this room for our safety. And that was my first experience, you know, going into a facility, and it taught me no lesson. I then proceeded to walk into school one day, and the CID was waiting there for me, and they was charged me with extortion on the headmaster. It was a terrible crime. I don't even know why I'd done it. I didn't get nothing out of him, but I thought this little kid could stand over the headmaster, you know. So that didn't work. So I upped the crime and ended up in Hindley Street. And the good people at the tattoo shop took me in, and I started my apprenticeship tattooing, which I tattooed for 25 years. That led to a life of crime on Hindley Street. We ran Hindley Street like an iron fist. And I was a pimp, I was a drug dealer, I was a standover merchant, I was a debt collector, drug addict, alcoholic, just tearing Hindley Street apart. Nothing fazed me. There was no consequences. We controlled the police and everything. That led on to a career criminal. To this day, I stand before you with 98 arrests on my record. And if there's a police officer in here, put the champagne away. We're not celebrating 100, okay? Just stop now. And all through that, I thought it was just a normal life because everyone was around me, was doing that. And I became a gang member, obviously, and I joined stuff like National Action, which is a neo-Nazi movement, and I was very racist. I got swastikas tattooed on me, etc. Still this day, I got swear words tattooed on me, so don't look too much into it. You'll be offended again. I offend a lot of people, don't I? I always bring that up to cover myself. You all sign the waivers before you come in, though, right? And that led to me finally catching up with me and going into the prison. I walked into prison. It's the darkest place you've ever seen. I was there within an hour and someone got stabbed over a banana. You know what I mean? Welcome to prison. But there's honour amongst thieves. You know, they don't teach you no lesson. There's no rehabilitation. You come straight back out on the street. And that was like a revolving door. Ended up doing a bit of time. I've done no longer than 11 and a half months straight, so I'm no murderer or whatever. I haven't done a long period of time at once. But you add all of them up, it's an inconvenience in life. Every time you go in, you lose your house, you lose your property, you lose your family, etc. I never had a real job, I never paid taxes. All right? So here I am in Yatala prison. My neighbour is John Bunting, the Snowtown killer. You know, welcome to prison. Still didn't learn, come out, continued my crime, doing everything. It was crazy. I've been shot in the head, I've been stabbed, I've had a heart attack, I've had an overdose. I'm here as a trophy of God's grace. It's as simple as that. And then one day, I ended up in Mobilong prison again. You go to an introductory unit, STIRT unit, and you're isolated from all the other prisoners to see if you're going to fit in. So when you first walk in there, you walk past you, all you've got is a bed pack. You don't get no special buy, there's no books, no nothing. And I heard a noise at the window. I thought that's unusual to hear a noise out there, so I looked at the window, and on the window ledge, there was a Bible. Well, there's nothing much to read. I can't really read or write anyway. It might pass some time, so I opened it up. And lo and behold, that Bible told me why I was in jail. And I didn't like it. And I said, this is your fault, God. You got the magic wand. You've created this. You've given me this life. I blame you. And I threw the Bible on the ground. I said, I don't want nothing to do with it. I woke up the next day. We have cell inspections in prison. So you've got to have everything orderly. I saw the Bible sitting there. I thought, I've got to pick it up. This is what I've done. Me of all people, the nerve of me. I said, you know what, God? I'm a nice guy. I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to pick up that Bible and you're going to talk to me if you're real. You know, here I am, me, giving him a second chance. I opened it up and it said, people will do wrong and then blame the Lord. I'm like, wow, I've just been blaming the Lord. I think he's talking to me. So I went and saw a Christian, a prison chaplain. And you know what? I told him, and he looked at me like I was mad. He didn't celebrate it. There was no joy. There was no celebration, nothing. I went, okay, maybe I'm mad. So I didn't pursue it. Ended back up in jail. And I'll tell you how bad jail is. It's so bad, they shanghaied me. Shanghaied is where the prison goes, nah, we don't like you here. You're having too much fun. We're going to send you a place that's even worse than this prison. So they sent me to Port Augusta prison. 70 people on the unit. 68 of them were black. I was white with swastika tattoos. The showers are in the middle of the unit. So you've got a shower in front of 69 other people. So there's all these black people looking at the swastikas. You know, that's what they do to you in the system. They try and break you down even when you've already been broken down. So this person said to me, come up to the visit centre. They have Tuesday nights in prison. A group of Christians come into the prison. They're called the Kairos team. And you go up there and you have Milo and biscuits with them. I said, they have what? They got Milo. I said, what, in prison? And Tim Tams. I said, no, they haven't. You're just trying to get me up there with them sandal-wearing, polo shirt, wearing little dweebs that we call Christians, you know? They said, no, there's really Milo. Okay, I'll go up and check it out. So I went up there on a Tuesday night, and there's this little Christian with his sandals on, of course. He goes, oh, g'day, Moose, we've been waiting for you. I said, you don't even know me. He goes, are you coming in? I said, have you really got Milo? He goes, yeah. I said, have you got Tim Tam? Yeah. So I went up, they got Milo and Tim Tams. So are you coming back next week? I think I am. So I had this great plan. Put the plastic in my pocket. I stole their Milo. Ate as many Tim Tams as I could. So I was the Milo thief. I thought, oh, this is great. I'm on a good wicket. And God was sort of talking to me. And I'm like, maybe he's going to, get me back for stealing from his church and that, And then someone said, you should do this Kairos course. I said, what's the Kairos course? He goes, oh, you go to the visit centre, you're locked in for 4 days. You don't get to see the other prisoners. And you spend a bit of time with these Christians, and they got prawns. Now, they haven't got prawns, I said. Like, I fell for the Milo, right? They got Milo, they got prawns. Okay, so when I got told that, I saw a little fella in prison called Albert Patrizzi. And I knew Albert Patrizzi as a junkie thief. And there he was, he's got a purple shirt on. I said, why isn't Albert in green? I said, that is Albert, isn't it? The prisoner said, yeah. I said, why has he got purple on? He goes, he's the prison chaplain. Don't even know what that is. So I went, Albert, how you going, mate? Good. Are you the prison chaplain? Yeah. Okay. What unit are you in? What do you mean, what unit I'm in? Oh, well, you're in jail. What unit are you in? Oh, no. I come in from the outside a couple of days a week. You volunteer to come in jail, back to jail? He goes, yeah. Fantastic. What drugs are you bringing in, Albert? Oh, no, it's for the Lord. No, I know you, Albert. You know, you're a meth cook and everything. You're bringing something in. I'll get some money in your account. We'll get some stuff in. He goes, no, it's for the Lord. Are you going to do the Kairos course? My cellmate mentioned that. I said, you got prawns? He goes, yeah, we do. Okay, sign me up. So the Kairos course was coming up close. Saw him, I said, yeah, I'm on the list. They go, I know, we've been praying for you. We're so excited for you to do this course, you know. So the Friday came, they said, we'll see you Monday, you're going to do the course. I said, no, I'm not doing it. I said, my home detention, I'm allowed to do half of my sentence at home now. So I'm not going to be here. So take your sandals and bugger off. They go, but we've been praying for you. People are going to be disappointed. Well, that weekend, a young African fellow got stabbed because I was a member of National Action on File and that. I was one of the suspects. They put on file attempted murder and they revoked my home detention. So Monday came, went up to the Kairos course. They were there. They go, wow, we thought you got home detention. We've been praying for you. I said, well, you better stop praying. I'm doing extra time because of you guys. So they had a bit of a laugh at that. Ended up doing this course. On the second day, it changed my life. All this came off the whiteboard and entered me. And I knew right from wrong. And I said to the person next to me, I need to follow Jesus. Did you just see what happened? He goes, no, I didn't. I said, you didn't see all of that come into me? He goes, no, but God reveals himself in different ways. And this guy, he's a pretty nerdy looking Christian. He's sitting in the middle of Mobilong prison and he's got his little coffee cup. And I looked at it, it was on the table. I said, if anyone touches this cup, I went, wow, they're coming in for a challenge, eh? No worries. So I touched his cup. I said, yeah. And he goes, he turned the cup around, it says, I will hug you. I said, come here. So I gave him a hug. I said, okay, they got me, that's a good sense of humour. Now, I'd like to bring a friend up. You go easy on this friend, because he's different to me. He still goes in and out of jail, this guy. He hasn't learned. He's been in and out of jail for a long time now. And for some reason, he keeps going back. I don't know what crime he's committed, but he's always, and I met him in prison, and look at this guy. Doesn't he look like a savage prisoner, people?
Yeah, look at us and how different we are, and this is our amazing God, isn't it? That, what does a bloke like me, why does he go into prison? You know, what good do I think I can do for a fellow like this? And that's our amazing God. You know, he just uses us in ways that we will never understand. But before I go any further, I just want to acknowledge that Kairos is a prison ministry, and there may be people here who are still being victims of crime and are still working through that. And so, as Moose said, you know, there are things that we might be saying, is this not working?
It's not switched on.
Sorry. That's better. Can you hear me now? It's very frustrating, isn't it, when someone's out the front and you sort of, speak up. Anyway, sorry about that. And so it's, you know, prison ministry, I never thought I'd get involved in it. So what is this Kairos course? What's its origin? Well, has anyone here done Emmaus? Yeah, a few of you have. So it's based on the Emmaus course. People who have done Emmaus in America, they thought this could work in prison. And so that's the origins of Kairos. And so what is it? It's a 4-day, depending on what the prison allows, it can be 3.5 days, it can be 5 days, depending on the hours that they have officers available to us. But it was like the prayer for others that we heard from Jane this morning, and some of the songs we've sung. Just a reminder of just what God can do when we give him the chance. And that's really what Moose is talking about. So I'm not going to say much more than that. It's just been an eye-opener for me. Every person who volunteers to go on a Kairos course, they come away from it And they say, I've seen more with what God is doing in this place than I've seen in our church in 25 years. And it's because there is a hunger there. When you go to prison, what I've come to understand is you don't get much lower than that in your self-esteem. That they've given up on themselves, most of them. Okay, they put on a brave front that, oh no, look, I can do this time, not a problem. But when they come to Kairos and you have conversations with them, you understand they are broken men. And then God sets about rebuilding them. And what a privilege that is to be in that position, to be trusted by God enough to go in and help men hear the message of hope, salvation, self-worth, and see what we've got here, with what I've got next to me now, a man who's rediscovered that, hey, I am worthwhile, I am God's creation, and I'm going to claim that. Over to you, Ms.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. So basically, Robert is just a person just like you. He's committed no crime. He probably hasn't even got a speeding ticket, but I bet he has because I've driven in the car with him. He's a funny guy. He said to me, because I had to work 2 in the morning, you know, and then we had to leave here at lunchtime, so I had to do my shift and basically get no sleep at the car. He goes, you can sleep in the car, Moose. Well, every time I doze off, he must have dozed off too, because you know them rumble strips? Like you wake up and you're like, you know, everything's vibrating and that. Like, what's going on, Robert? And you have to wake him up. But he's old, so we'll go easy on him. Then again, half the church is here, though. I feel so young. You're a beautiful bunch. I don't know if I'm the bingo caller or the leader of the lawn bowls today, but you're a beautiful bunch, you know. It's not a perfect church, I know that. There's no perfect church. You know what they say, if you find a perfect church, join it and make it imperfect. But I like church, you know, I always say to people when I talk, if you're not getting stuff broken and stolen from your church, you're attracting the wrong people. So I'll be sure to steal something on the way out. You know, I stayed at the beautiful Stevens and Heather's house last night. It's a beautiful house. They had the towel and soap out, and because I travel around in hotels, I accidentally stole the towel and soap, so I have to give that back. But they are a funny couple. They sleep in separate beds. She slept in her own, he slept in my bed. It's a Naracoorte thing, apparently. So it was nice and cuddly. But what I'm trying to get at, they're normal people like you, right? And it's okay, it's comfortable to sit in church, isn't it? Well, some churches, here it's like a workout. You're standing up, you're sitting down. I've felt this fit since I was in the Lutheran church. But yeah, the Lutherans are still around. They're beautiful people. We'll pray for them. They probably support the Crows too. But I am a Collingwood supporter. I mentioned that before. But what I'm trying to say is, it's okay to sit in church, but that's not what it's about. This church is a building. But we are the churches. People say, you have to get up and get busy. Now, I see a lot of church feeding people, housing people, clothing people. But I didn't see too many people that visited me while I was in prison. And I'm telling you, God is working, right? I take no credit off of the Kairos team. It was all God, but they are the initial tool. I had no idea that I could become a Christian because I thought I was tattooed, X this, X that. I don't wear sandals, I don't wear a polo top. So I thought this isn't for me. But at the start of the Kairos course, the first person that stood up to share their testimony, one of the visitors that come in from the Kairos team, I knew him. He used to sell drugs at his pizza bar. And you get the pizza delivery and you get free delivery with the drugs. It was great. It was before Uber. He had his own Uber drug system. And he got up to speak, and I saw him, and I said to the guy next to him, this guy here, he's a drug dealer. Like, what a hypocritical Christian. Like, what's he doing in here? He's a drug dealer, you know? And he got up and he started to share his story. And he goes, I was a drug dealer, and I used my pizza delivery. And I looked at the officers. I was like, he better not bloody dob me in, you know? And then I realised what he was about to share was a testimony. And now I've got more growth in my faith. The testimony is the only thing the enemy can't take off you. You know, he can attack you every other way, but he can't take that off of you. So I experienced my first testimony, and my heart opened. I thought, wow, he's not perfect. You know, I've even heard him swear and everything. Like, I'm going to listen. And then the next guy shared how he lost his children through death, and thought he's got more misery than me, you know, like, wow. By the end of that course, they have a forgiveness ceremony as well. They said you can write down on this bit of paper people you want to forgive. Don't really want to forgive that person. I'd like to carve him up, to be honest, but I'll try it anyway. From that ceremony onwards, I have not had a bad bone in my body towards that perpetrator of my childhood whatsoever. The good thing was, though, I wrote my own name on there, because that's where it starts. You need to forgive yourself. So I just want to encourage you, if you don't think prison ministry is for you, you're wrong. Because look at Robert. He weighs what, 33 kilos? Sorry, Robert, it rained. You weigh 36 kilos. You got a little wet, right? But he went in there with the strength of the Lord, tougher than anybody in that prison, because he trusted his God. Do you want at the end of your time for God to say, you're a good, faithful servant, or do you just want to be good? Because according to the scripture, you need to go in and visit the people. Now, you're probably wondering, what have I done since that Kairos course? Okay, you've done a course, you say Jesus is your saviour. But proof is in the pudding, right? I am now 15 years drug-free, and I'm also alcohol-free since February this year. But before February this year, I wasn't drinking. I started to drink for about 3 months again, because a 23-year-old girl decided to smile at me and then jump in front of a train doing 80 kilometres an hour. She was chewed up underneath and she came out a different person, and I was left there to look at her. And I still remember her smile. I wake up every day, she's the first thing I think about. I hear the sounds, I hear the train horn, etc. The enemy said to Jesus himself, I will return at a more opportune time. Well, there I was at that more opportune time, and I started alcohol. Then one day I said, you know what, I need the strength of the Lord. So I've been sober since February with the strength of the Lord. So have patience with some people. We may stumble, but we're always moving forward. I went to a church, I shared my story. People come up and they said, we want to pay for your license. The church paid for my license. I got my full license. 2 years ago, I got my first real job. I'm a delivery driver, I deliver food. It's great because I don't steal, I don't beat people up, I don't do none of that. So if that Kairos team hadn't have come into the prison and celebrate the journey I wanted to encounter, I would have been here for a different reason in this town. Maybe to kneecap someone or extort someone or whatever. So normal Christians like you that spent time in church suddenly got stirred by the Lord, stepped out in faith and entered a place where no one wants to be. I thought they were mad at first. I spent all that money on lawyers trying to get out of jail. They're lining up to get in. I thought they've got to be good people. I need to give them the time. I still see them all on the outside. They're lovely people. They keep in contact. But I decided the church that I was with moved me to do Tabor Christian College, Cert 4 in youth work. I was on that course. A young fella there, Sean, he said to me, would you like to come along and be a youth leader at our church? I says, no, God hasn't mentioned that yet. I don't think I even want to do youth. Kids drive me mad, you know what I mean? I've got 7 kids of my own. I don't even like them. See what happens. 2 weeks later, God just kept waking me up. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. I'll talk to her. I said, Sean, look, I want to give it a go, you know. I'll come down this Friday. I didn't know what church he had. When I got there, I looked. And I went, Sean, is this an Aboriginal church? He goes, yeah. I've got swastika tattoos and that. That's okay. And I met the head pastor there, Pastor Bryce Clark. He had no shoes on, little white guy. He was wonderful. I said, I just want to let you know, sir, I've got swastika tattoos. He goes, the good Lord, the kids won't even see them, Moose. Just do your thing. So I've become a youth leader at an Aboriginal church. 20 years ago, I had a white hood. I was Ku Klux Klan. And I just said, God, you're a funny bugger. You know what I mean? So if they hadn't have came into that prison to share their journey and encourage mine, I would have still been doing drugs. I would have still been doing whatever. So please, I know there's people in here. You don't have to go into prison. They got outside. You can be on the prayer team. You can bake the biscuits. And I'll tell you how important them biscuits are. Everyone talks about the biscuits. I had maybe over 400 biscuits on that 3.5-day course. I made a guts of myself. And then when I got out, I met this lady. She goes, "Hi, Moose, I baked the biscuits for you." "Oh, I'm so sorry I made you bake 400 just for me." She goes, "I've got some now, you know." And these people, they don't put Milo out when I visit these people now. Like, I'm not a thief anymore, guys. You can put the Milo out. But there's a whole roll of different roles that you could be doing as a community towards that prison industry. Because you know what? I'm out. I'm doing okay, right? But my brothers are still in there, and they're still lost, and they're still lonely. And I was always meant to be here. I just went the long way around to get here. Maybe I've got to lift with Rob. He's terrible for directions. Yeah, aren't you, Rob? You never get a lift with this guy. It's a warning. So if it's stirring your heart up now, go home and pray into it. Get in contact with Robert, because my brothers need you. And women, there's Kairos for women outside as well. So don't think this is, in the year 2024. There is no gender. So you're all welcome to do something. And when I go back in now to prison to share my story and encourage the prisoners, and every time I leave, I know how the Kairos people feel, because they uplift you through the Lord. You see the joy of them, and that's what we need to be doing. Not they go in there with no agenda. That's the difference. Like, you can go into churches now and they'll offend you. Like, for over 2,000 years, they've been praying for people like me to come to church, and when I do, they don't know how to handle me. We're only looking for a friend. Drugs and that, they mask something. So we only done drugs because we weren't confident enough, because we were broken. And I still see people of my past. I have breakfast and lunch with the Sergeant-at-Arms of Outlaw Motorcycle Club and the President. They're drug-free and everything too, because the 5 people you surround yourself, you become, right? So Rob's getting facial tattoos next week, by the way. And drugs have given me, I wander in that mentally and that, because it's long-term use. But God is rejuvenating my brain, I am slowly getting my memory back. I can remember right back to when I was a childhood. But God is a last-minute God. We always think he's going to do it in this time. So I still get a little frustrated with the Lord, you know what I mean? I still battle a little bit of mental health, etc. But the people that are coming out of prison, you need to embrace them as a community. And don't corner them and push your agenda on them, because they want to love, but they're under a lot of pressure. And I think this is why Kairos works, because I was just about to swear there. Well, I'll say, they go in there shitting like a big black Alsatian as well, they're scared as well. So that's why it works. We're both scared as each other. And because there's no denomination, there's no religion, you meet these people where they're at, and as soon as you realise they're just as broken as you start getting the confidence saying, this is for me. I can follow Jesus. So I'm not going to waffle on. I've already waffled on more, and I know you're just dying to get out of here and just talk about me saying that guy was up the road wacko. You know what I mean? But I am not a trained public speaker. Obviously, the Lord has just stirred my heart to share my story, because none of you, or maybe some of you, you don't really know the prison system. I was the same. I went to the prison thinking, they're just murder and rapists. That's where they need to be. But let me tell you about one person I met in there. He was a youth pastor. He had dinner with the head pastor of his church. He had a couple of wines over dinner. He drove home, crashed into a house and killed 2 people. He's now doing 8 years. He was a youth pastor. He didn't even say the word fart. He called it a pop-off. That's how straight he was. And there he is in the middle of a yard, surrounded by Finks Motorcycle Club members. They're twice as big as me. And he's doing his time. So it could happen to any of us. We're all one decision away of being an idiot. Some of us made that choice. And I met some wonderful people in prison, and they need the love of Christ. So I'm going to leave on that note. If you set yourself on fire, the whole world will watch you burn. So burn for Christ. Thank you very much. Jesus said it first. I'll be back.